Welcome to Video Battlethon 39, the John Sue and Michael Rosmer Battlethon inspired by Gary Vaynerchuk. Today's topic is involving something that I find truly fascinating about life, and it was kind of a connection that I made, or a theory that I've come to conclude on the evolution of human beings. So, I don't know if you remember me talking about the law of three but basically the law of three talks about three factors being involved all the time and how we analyze things. So the three factors I'm going to talk about today involve the body, the mind, and we'll call it the soul or the heart. And for the body, mind, and soul, I call it, my cheesy tagline. It's the instinct, intellect, intuition, evolutional phase. So when you look at it, when you're born as a baby, first thing that needs to develop is our bodies. We gotta stop crapping our pants and puking on ourselves, right? It's a survival instinct. We must first take care of the body that houses us and gives us life. And that's the first thing that we need to master before moving on to the second level of, okay, now we're not crapping our pants and puking on ourselves. Next thing we need to do is develop our minds. So we do things to make ourselves smarter. But in that crazy path to make us smarter, I don't know if that path has made us more aware of how smart we are or more aware of how dumb we are. Or maybe it's actually part of both. We are smart and dumb. So here we are at the intellect. Like I always hear people say, oh, he's so smart. And I really don't believe anyone is actually smarter or dumber than anyone else. I think there's just more people who have more knowledge about certain activities than others. But to say someone is smarter than you or dumber than you is an inaccurate and incomplete perception on the truth of the matter is it's just the fact that there's people who know more or less than you about certain things. So here we are going through school, building our brains, learning life, making ourselves smarter, getting an education, right, to get a good job. So as we get a good job, and we're kind of semi-sane in our minds, you always hear more about a deeper meaning to life. What is my purpose? Why am I here? The 50-year mark of midlife crisis. And then those that have, I guess, what you call found themselves or discovered themselves have a bigger dream, a dream beyond self. And that's kind of where the intuition kicks in. By that time in life, you've really had enough experiences and thoughts and knowledge around things. There's certain things you've realized in your life that you're really brilliant at, and there's other things in your life that you realize you're a freaking idiot at. And now here you are looking for a bigger inspired mission, something bigger, right? That's kind of more of what you love to do, and you're driven inside to do it, and it's usually a cause bigger than yourself. And that's kind of where the intuition kicks in. And how do we say, the intuition is kind of that inner guidance system that kind of, how would we say, feels right even if you think the situation is wrong, right? So we have the instinct, intellect, and intuition, and the interplay of that evolutional journey. And I'm sure, if you're 15, 10, 30, 50, or 70, you're probably in one of those three levels of life. And kind of sharing where I'm at with things. It is, the hardest part for me to grow beyond was probably from the intellect and just starting into the intuition part, is because my business coach always said, I was so in my head he could hear me thinking. And often, so in my head, I was just lost in my own head of My internal voice was so loud that I couldn't hear other people, and it was just screamed out. So that was like a 7 year journey of experiencing extreme, how to say, an extreme life of narcissism, where you kind of make and hear everything about yourself, and I kind of drowned the voice, outside, the voices and opinions outside of me. So I would hear a lot of things of, wow, you're quite self-centered, or wow, you're so confident, or you're so narrow-minded, or whatever it may be. It's at the end of the day, it was me not hearing the outside message. And when I couldn't when you're not able to hear the outside message, life just brings you more harsh experiences to kind of say, hey, listen up, what you believe and how you think life should be, it's not actually like that. So I had many humbling circumstances to really crack that open. And interesting thing is I'm so stubborn, and a lot of people say, well, that's great, at least you found yourself, and you didn't care about other people's opinions, and you did whatever you want, and you didn't care. And it's like, yeah, that was really fun, but there becomes a point where you become so delusional and lost that you're like, you kind of, I would say, realize life's not how you thought it was, and you start to kind of merge the outside of what's happening in your mind, what you thought should happen in your mind, to what's happening in your life. And that's kind of like the breaking down of your own opinion, and allowing the opinion of others to kind of resonate in, and for you to hear other people. Because living life intuitively, it's not about yourself or others. It's about yourself and others. And the turning point of that was really having a lot of people say to me, or complain about me, or say something negative about me, and it was because I didn't hear what they were saying. Even though I heard the literal words, I didn't actually understand what they're saying, and I just pushed my agenda through. The saying of, you listen to reply. I was listening to reply, but I wasn't conscious of it. So now I'm shifting into the intuition stage of merging my own thoughts with, the feedback of others. And that's kind of where it's kind of intuitive, is, does that feel right? And I would, how would you say, merge the intellect with the intuition, and think things through, feel things through, and it's starting to kind of balance itself out now, rather than to be hyper focused in my mind, and so hyper focused that it would just kind of block what I'm feeling out. It's kind of like a really super strong mental repression of somebody who doesn't know how repressed their emotions were. So that was truly enlightening, and really opened my mind, and opened myself up to a new world, right? A more interconnected world. And if anything, it made me come more alive, because now I'm more rolling with the flow of life, rather than trying to exert and master control over things, or push for the outcome that I want. It's just more of whatever happens, I'll deal with it, but I'm not so focused on having a specific win. I kind of treat life as, I'm going to win and lose. Doesn't really matter what happens. I prefer to win, but I'm going to keep driving through no matter what happens. And that's a lot, how would you say, life flows a lot easier when you're doing it like that, when it doesn't matter as much if you win or lose. But before that, it was pretty much win or die, and that was my mindset of win or die. And the weird thing was, it's awesome when I was winning, but when I was losing, it killed me inside. And I was, how would you say, as enjoyable as the ups were, it was really harsh when you're kind of like a hardcore masochist of execution. You beat the shit out of yourself in a really, how would you say, merciless kind of way. That's what I realized is I was really harsh on myself, more harsh than I actually realized. So now I'm kind of more chill and relaxed, and yeah, here I'm a pretty excellent listener now, a real listener actually. So thank you. That is my 3 cents on the law of three and the instinct, intellect, intuition, evolution of the human being.